Hello everyone and welcome back to the PR Media channel. Today I want to introduce to you the late 2019, early 2020 Lenovo Yoga S740 14-inch. In the small and well-designed box, first you will find the device as seen in many mobile phone packaging. Make sure to not let the bottom part drop out of the box. Below the notebook there is a square compartment which only contains the 65-watt power supply and a power cord that fits your country's standard. There is very little paperwork included with the product. Next up, let's have a look at the device and get rid of everything else. The Yoga line of laptops grew up over the past few years. The whole body is made of aluminum and a sandblasted grey finish. My unit is equipped with an i7 10th series processor, 512 gigs of NVMe storage, 16 GB of lightning-fast LPDDR4 memory, a GeForce MX 250 GPU, the entry-level Full HD display and one of Intel's latest Wi-Fi 6 cards. On the left of the device there's a barrel connector for power, a USB 3.1 Gen 1 port with 5 GB of speed, a Thunderbolt 3 port with power delivery and full charging capabilities, and a headphone jack. On the right side there's another USB 3.1 port. Next to it is a status LED. The bottom part has a large cooling intake with two fans hiding behind it at the left and right side. If you want to open the device, all 9 screws are easily accessible without removing any rubber parts. The chiclet style keyboard has a very usual spacing and feels very good to type on. The up and down arrow is only half size, but it's very easy to use without any false inputs. The trackpad is reasonably large for a 14-inch device and uses Windows Precision drivers. It is hinged from the top, but you can left click almost everywhere. The two Dolby Atmos certified speakers are located right and left of the keyboard behind large speaker grills. The webcam is combined with an infrared sensor and supports Windows Hello Face Unlock. When I first booted the device, I was really surprised how fast it is ready to use. You can easily deduct around 2 seconds from me getting into the frame and face unlocking the device. Below 8 seconds from fully switched off to ready to use is simply amazing. Let's have a look at the task manager. The latest i7 has 8 threads and boosts up to 3.9 GHz on one core while maintaining a low TDP of just 15 watts. The memory shows up as solid 16 GB with a clock frequency of lightning-fast 3733 MHz. Intel's latest AX201 Wi-Fi 6 card rounds up the package. It has a theoretical transfer speed of up to 2.4 gigabit per second and easily outperforms 1 gigabit LAN connection with newer routers. Intel Iris Plus also got a significant upgrade due to the high pressure by AMD with their Vega 8 graphics. The new Iris Plus model is about 60% faster than the previous UHD 620 graphics. In practice, the additional MX 250 GPU is almost never in use as the internal GPU is able to handle most tasks without a sweat. Software-wise, Lenovo only relies on a program called Lenovo Vantage. It mainly offers 4 different sections where important adjustments can be made to the system. Health and Support informs you about your device's condition. You can either run an automated hardware scan or check for your warranty status. I personally extended the warranty of my device right away by 1 year as it only costs around $39. In my country, Lenovo also offers a home service which is an additional $10 to $20 per year. Next to the hardware settings, under power you can precisely check the condition of your battery. It even shows you how much power is currently drawn, when your battery has been produced, how hot it is and how many cycles have been made. As an RC model guy, I could not believe that the battery is supposed to be a lithium polymer one, so I checked to see for myself. I was relieved to find a regular lithium-ion battery as these have much higher lifespan and are less dangerous to handle. Under audio and visual settings, you can set up the white point of the display and enable the blue light filter that adjusts using real-time data. Furthermore, you can fine adjust the camera picture, disable it completely also via keyboard, set up automatic Dolby audio profiles and fine-tune the microphone array settings. Yes, this laptop has a dual microphone array built into the screen that allows you to precisely adjust how wide of a cone you want to record. I tested this out for myself and found out that setting it to my voice only really just picks up my voice when I'm directly sitting in front of the device. Everything else from the left and right from me is going to be blocked, which is especially useful when sitting in crowded places. Hardware input settings let you change the function keys to regular FN keys or vice versa. You can also check if your trackpad is locked and see the status of your keyboard illumination. Next up, let's take a look at the smart settings and see what we can find. The infrared sensor is not only being used for unlocking in a near-dark environment, it also regularly checks if you are sitting in front of the device. You can configure whether or not the laptop will enter sleep if you are away, and as a separate function, if videos will stop playing when you are looking somewhere else. While the playback feature feels like a gimmick to me, I actually found the auto-locking function very useful. After browsing in the web, I left my desk and just after a few seconds, the screen started dimming and the device went to sleep shortly after. When returning to my seat, the Lenovo Yoga already woke up and tried finding my face. I could get back to work in no time without risking someone else to use my laptop. The screen lock timer is configurable in 3 different steps, and all those features are not using the webcam. No device is perfect, so is the Lenovo Yoga. While opening the lid for the first time, I noticed a squeaky sound coming from the hinge. It definitely was worse at the beginning and it got less squeaky now that I used the laptop for a longer period of time, but the sound it makes certainly does not contribute to the otherwise premium feel. Next up, it is sad to see the SD card reader disappear completely. It is mandatory to carry around an external one, even though the rest of the device has plenty of ports to live without dongles. It would be great to see a full-size SD card reader with UHS 2 speeds in future. The third thing I noticed is that the glossy screen has little to no anti-reflective coating on it. I previously used a Dell XPS 15 and had less issues with reflection even though both screens are glossy. I prefer glossy screens because of color reproduction, but you really need to crank up brightness to use it outside. Sadly, there is no matte version available at all. The last thing I'm torn between is battery life. While the Yoga has a reasonably large battery capacity of 62 watts, I cannot reach the advertised up to 14 hours at all. Taking a look at the battery info, I mostly draw around 5 to 6 watt hours while browsing the web or watching videos. Besides the superb build quality, I personally found the 14-inch size to be perfect. I wasn't seriously looking for a notebook after I sold my Dell XPS, but when I walked into an electronics store and randomly started typing and testing various comparable devices, the Lenovo IdeaPad 2019 immediately stood out to me. The keyboard felt incredibly familiar and the size and weight is perfectly in between of small 13-inch and 15-inch laptops. The Dell came in at 2 kilograms while the Lenovo is about 550 grams less. I found the screen and keyboard of 13-inch devices too small to feel comfortable with, so that is why I had Lenovo stuck in the back of my head for many weeks. Performance-wise, the Yoga exceeded all my expectations. I wasn't planning to use it for complex photo editing or even video editing, but after importing some projects and testing some raw files, I was pleasantly surprised how well the 10th gen processor was handling these tasks. Photo editing happens on the instant, also while applying layer masks and doing complex adjustments. Editing regular Full HD H.264 footage in Adobe Premiere is no challenge for it either. Applying a color adjustment is a simple task for it as well, but you might need to use proxy files when bumping up the resolution to UHD. What also made me appreciate this laptop a lot are the speakers.
For that, you're going to need something a little more dope.
I did not use the Dell laptop as much as I liked because of the audio. Let's face it, they are by far the weakest part of the XPS lineup. Lenovo moved the speakers to the top with their 2020 models, and this is where they should be. The speakers get really loud at full volume with only very slight distortion. Without using the EQ, they sound a little flat. I can highly recommend to customize the equalizer to a new shape. This might look like a basic electronic dance music move, but I can guarantee that the speakers now sound much fuller and punchier. Still laptop speakers, don't get me wrong, but among the best I have ever had. Next up, I chose the Lenovo Yoga over the IdeaPad because of its Thunderbolt 3 ports. First of all, I want to have the option to use Thunderbolt 3 for my advantage, be it USB-C adapters, USB-C drives or external GPUs. I do not own an eGPU for myself yet, but I had the chance to test out one at work. It was a Razer core housing with a Vega 64 graphics card inside. I just plugged in the connector and waited for automatic driver installation. After 1 minute of waiting, the eGPU was ready to use and showed up in my task manager. I know that there is performance loss over the limited 4 Thunderbolt 3 lanes, but having a desktop-grade GPU connected to an external display appears to be a much smarter solution to me than having a power-hungry graphics card inside my portable device. In addition to the original power supply, I can absolutely recommend the optional single-piece unit from Lenovo. It has a small, square form factor and fits in every pocket. To protect the glossy screen from any damage, I always put a microfiber cloth between the keyboard and lid. The one I got is for 13-inch devices, but fits for 14 inches perfectly as well. All links to the products are down in the description. If you plan on using the Yoga as a desktop replacement, you might want to have a portable mouse and keyboard as well. The Logitech MX Anywhere 2S and K380 keyboard are a perfect fit. The Logitech Options software is able to smartly switch between multiple devices using Logitech Flow. All of these components easily fit inside a backpack. And lastly, do not forget to buy a sleeve to protect your laptop from dents and scratches. To round things up, I made a comparison chart of all pros and cons. I can totally recommend the Lenovo Yoga S740 to anyone who wants to travel light, edit while on the go, or simply wants to watch videos. It is a well-polished product that sets the bar very high for the competition, coming in at roughly $1,199 depending on where you live. For this price, the cheap additional warranty and the affordable accessories, it is an easy recommendation. If you liked this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of this, consider subscribing to my channel. See you next time.